While I find this game to be at times very annoying due to its insane difficulty, there's just always been something special about what I call Naughty Dog's Grand Theft Auto. My first experience with the Jak and Daxter franchise was actually Jak 3 when it came bundled with the first PlayStation 2 my parents bought for me and my siblings. I think that was a Costco deal at the time. And I not only loved Jak 3, but at the time I felt like it was a challenging game, but not as challenging as Jak 2. Now I say this is Naughty Dog's Grand Theft Auto because, well, it kind of is. It was developed and released after the massive success of GTA 3, and everyone at the time wanted to do their own spin on this new popular genre that GTA 3 kind of created in a way. And of course, there are quite a bit of a different twist with this one. As you probably already know, you play as Jak, and he and his crude and annoying sidekick Daxter are transported through a rift and sent flying into the future. That is then where Jak is captured by the Crimson Guards, and roughly 2 years of torture and almost dying basically is when Daxter finally finds and saves Jak, despite basically doing nothing the past 2 years and completely forgot about saving Jak, which you do see in the Daxter spin-off game.
Whoa! Got it. Where would you be without me, eh, Dax?
Well, Jak, I probably wouldn't be 2 feet tall, fuzzy, and running around in a sewer without a pair of pants. God, I miss pants.
Now, after saving Jak, you do get to explore this new environment known as Haven City, and you also join basically a resistance to fight back against the evil Baron Praxis.
What happened, before?
Metalheads broke through the old city wall. We fought them, but then the Baron pulled back, leaving everyone outside the new barrier to die. Only the Shadow stayed and somehow stopped the attack.
And now you expect us to go out there again?
You catch on fast. If you prevent the Metalheads from reaching the sacred site, the Shadow will be most grateful.
Now, as this is the sequel to the original Jak and Daxter game, this kind of marks the beginning of a much darker tone with the Jak and Daxter franchise, and in my opinion, I felt it was their reasoning to quote-unquote maybe compete with Grand Theft Auto, but in a less mature way to maybe reach more players. And this game can be dark at times, and it is filled with quite a bit of crude humor.
What you got that's, hot? And, wait, I've seen you before. You're with the Underground.
Shh! I'm Tess. Torn sent me to spy on Crew. Play along, and I may be able to get my hands on a few of Crew's secrets.
Now, back when I played this game as a kid, I never cared about voice actors and who was in the game, but now as an adult, I am actually pretty excited to see some amazing voice actors who had a part in this amazing experience. And I'm talking some voice actors from my childhood, such as Susan Eisenberg, aka Wonder Woman from the Justice League, alongside her teammate Phil Lamar, aka the Green Lantern, and Clancy freaking Brown as the Baron Praxis himself. That's freaking awesome. So how's the gameplay? Well, as I mentioned, it is kind of like a GTA clone, if you will, and you do basically take on various missions given to you by side characters.
Blood of the whole place. The statue and 5 of my best men were swept away.
That's terrible.
Yes, a tragic loss. I've missed that statue ever since. The sewers have been so full of water and metalheads that I can't get anyone to go down there and retrieve the artifact. But you're special, Jak. You can do it.
Jak? Hey, what am I, chub liver?
Oh, don't I wish? Now go down there, drain the sewers, and find that statue at the bottom. Bring back the ruby key artifact, and it will open up doors beyond our wildest dreams, eh?
Great. More mucking in the mud.
I hate to burst your bathtub bubbles, baby, but that ain't just mud down there.
And traveling around this open world city, whether it's on foot, stealing hover vehicles, and even using the badass hoverboard, which does come with some cool tricks, making you feel a little bit like you're in a Tony Hawk game. and there are also various side missions to take part in as well. Now, while going on these missions, there are quite a bit of variety, such as various escort missions, races, clearing out certain areas of enemies, rescuing allies, turret sections, etc. So you do have that bit of variety similar to a Grand Theft Auto game. Now, you do also have access to 4 different guns, which are okay in this game. They are much better in Jak 3 with more additions in that game. Subscribe and like this video if you want to see a Jak 3 review in the near future. Now, the 4 guns in Jak 2 are your scatter gun, which is basically a shotgun, the blaster mod, which is kind of like a rifle, sort of, the Vulcan Fury, which is I would say, a assault rifle, and the Peacemaker. No, not that kind of Peacemaker. This one kind of shoots these electric energy beams at your enemies. Now, you also have access to harness the power of Dark Eco, which transforms you into Dark Jak, giving him gray skin and massive claws, which you can either claw your way through your enemies or do a massive super attack that will drain all of your eco energy, and then you have to recharge it by finding the Dark Eco orbs to access Dark Jak again. Now, I did say the game was challenging, and it is. After about 4 hits, you're dead. The hover vehicles that you get to use to travel the city will explode after a few crashes. Prison guards, aka this game's version of the police, are everywhere, and the smallest thing might trigger a wanted level, and they will just constantly go after you until you're defeated or go to a room or something. And even on the missions that take place outside of the city in these various locations, you have to fight various metalheads with their own different types and abilities. So the game is challenging, and you don't have a lot of hits before you die and have to respawn. The camera can also be an issue, as sometimes it just won't cooperate with you, and sometimes the camera would just completely glitch out altogether. Getting through the city in the hover vehicles is also a bit challenging because, as I mentioned before, the hover cars will explode after a few hits, and you do have to change the height of your vehicle, whether you are hovering up high in the air or down below. This can cause a bit of a challenge or problem depending on how you look at it, because while hovering down below, you can run over civilians and potentially Crimson Guards to trigger a wanted level, and while hovering up above, you will basically crash into other vehicles. So you're constantly changing your height in the hover just to try to make it through the city in one piece. But with all that being said, it is quite an interesting city to look at and explore, and I would actually love to see this game get some kind of remaster or remake or something, just so they can improve on the visuals of the game. Now, the game does kind of hold up to a point, considering it is a PlayStation 2 game, but of course it could look far better, similar to the Crash and Spyro remakes that we got in a few years back. Now, there is also a very interesting story here with a lot of interesting side characters with their own personalities and what's about them. You have Torn, who is the tough, angry resistance leader, Ashlyn, who is the badass but attractive resistance fighter, who was in part voiced by Susan Eisenberg. You also have Crew, which is this fat, gross, disgusting mob boss type of guy, etc., etc.
75B can handle the surge. I could link the phase loop lines into the primary coils, and presto, you've got instant lift juice.
And it is great that this game, along with the others in the franchise, are available on the PS5, but I do wish that it was on the emulator game side, like we are seeing with the recent releases of Daxter and Tomb Raider Legend, because those emulated games do have the rewind function, which I feel is a bit necessary for a game this challenging. But if you are someone who's okay with the challenge and you don't mind not having the rewind feature, it is available here for you to have. I do believe they are trying to re-release these games on the new emulator system, if you will, with the rewind feature. I don't think it's necessary at this point, since they already have the games out to purchase. But if you want that rewind feature, you can go that route if they plan to release it that way. Now, throughout the game, you will also have various hidden collectibles like the precursor orbs, which will unlock various various secrets such as a big head mode and various cheats like infinite ammo and infinite health, that kind of thing. And when it comes to the game being challenging, there are some tricks that you can use to try to make your experience a bit less frustrating, one of which being to do a melee attack before shooting, which would then generate a faster shot mode as well as a slightly different shooting mode depending on what gun you are using. So little things like that could potentially help you with your frustration. There's also other tricks like tapping the analog stick forward when swimming to allow Jack to swim much faster, and also doing a roll attack, constantly rolling around the screen to maybe move a bit quicker before getting the hoverboard, obviously. Now, Jak 2 is not an easy experience to get through, but you should definitely play this game if it is either your first time in the franchise or you're looking to return and have that nostalgia. But hopefully Naughty Dog does bring back this franchise and stops making The Last of Us games. I would say Jak 2, especially for its price, is well worth your time and experience, and even playing the third one and maybe the first one. I never completed the first one. I didn't get very far when I played the first one, so maybe I'll take a step into the first game and see what that's all about. But that is my classic game review of Jak 2 for originally the PS2, now available on PS5. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this review. What do you think about the game and the franchise? Do you think Naughty Dog is wasting their time with Last of Us? Should they go back to the Jak and Daxter franchise? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Mar, the founder of Haven City. We're being sent out on suicide missions to locate artifacts from the time of his rule. If curiosity's worth dying for, you can ask the blind old soothsayer in the bazaar named Onin. She might know something about all this. Here's my bazaar access security pass.
Your name's Ashland, huh?
We're even now.